The story of Milena, a tale of beauty, judgment, and society. Our story begins in 1940s Italy, when the country enters World War II. We meet a 12-year-old boy named Renato, whose father takes him to buy a bicycle. Excited with his new bike, Renato rides around town and meets his friends. They're all admiring his bicycle, when suddenly one friend says, "She's coming," and everyone sits down. Renato doesn't understand who's coming until he sees the most beautiful woman in town walking by. Her name is Milena. The moment Renato sees her, he becomes completely mesmerized and can't take his eyes off her. Renato and his friends start following Milena on their bicycles. Milena lives with her elderly father, who is a school teacher and is hard of hearing. Renato actually attends the same school. Milena is married, but her husband is mostly away serving in the army. Because Milena is incredibly beautiful, all the men in town want her and desperately try to catch even a glimpse of her. However, the women in town are jealous of her beauty and wish they could look like her. At school, Renato can't concentrate on his studies because he keeps thinking about Milena. After school ends, he rides his bicycle to her house and waits across the street, hoping to see her come out. In his imagination, Milena calls him over and gives him money to buy cigarettes. But this is just his daydream. In reality, he's just sitting there watching her house. Renato becomes so obsessed that he steals his father's pants and takes them to a tailor to make himself look more grown up. When his father discovers this, he scolds Renato severely, telling him he's still too young for long pants. Despite knowing Milena is married, Renato continues watching her. He even climbs trees at night to peek through her window and see into her room. One night, Renato secretly watches Milena dancing to music in her room. Shh. When Renato finally goes out on his bicycle, he sees that the town women are spreading rumors about Milena, claiming she's having affairs with other men. Some men also speak badly about her, but Renato knows these stories aren't true. The next day, while Milena's father is teaching at school, he receives a note saying his daughter is not a good woman and is having relationships with many men in town. Angry and believing the rumors, her father disowns her and throws her out of his house. Milena has to return to living alone in her own home. One night, when Renato climbs a tree to watch her through the window, he sees Milena with a town officer. This breaks Renato's heart. When the officer leaves, a dentist who likes Milena attacks him. The dentist's wife arrives with police, claiming her husband is having an affair with Milena. She files a case against Milena, and news of the affair spreads like wildfire throughout the town. Troubled by all this, Milena goes to a prominent lawyer in town and asks him to fight her case. The lawyer, wanting to take advantage of her situation, agrees to help. During the court hearing, Milena's lawyer argues that she has no relationship with the dentist and that the officer is just a friend. The lawyer wins the case. After the trial, the lawyer comes to Milena's house. When she pays his very expensive fee, he takes advantage of her vulnerable situation. Renato secretly watches all this, and during his spying, he falls from the tree and breaks his arm. From then on, Milena starts meeting with the lawyer because she can't find any other work and needs money to survive. The lawyer pays for all her expenses, but when his mother learns about their relationship, she scolds him and says he has brought shame to their family name. The lawyer then breaks off his relationship with Milena. Now Milena becomes completely alone. No one will give her. Meanwhile, all the women in town have become fed up with Milena because their relationships with their husbands are deteriorating. One day, several women storm into a hotel where Milena is with a man. They drag her outside, tear her clothes, beat her badly, cut her hair, and humiliate her greatly. They tell her to leave town. Not a single man standing there comes to save her. Milena feels terrible about what happened to her, but she can't stay and endure more humiliation, so she leaves the town. Renato watches all this from a distance. A few days later, Milena's husband returns to town. He's still alive but has lost one arm in the war. All the residents are completely shocked to see him. He comes to his house looking for Milena, but finds several people living there who have taken over his home because their own houses were destroyed in the war. When Malena's husband asks townspeople about his wife, no one wants to tell him what happened or where she went. Even his friends start saying bad things about what his wife did while he was away. Hearing all this makes Malena's husband feel terrible. Renato wants to tell Malena's husband the truth about her, but he doesn't have the courage to face him. However, Renato knows which train Malena took and where she went. So one night, he throws a letter to Malena's husband and runs away. The letter says that she still loves him and has gone to the city of Messina. That same night, Malena's husband takes a train to find her. A year later, Malena returns to the same town with her husband. As they walk through the city, the women see that Malena looks even more beautiful than before, but now she's with her husband, so they realize she's no longer a threat to them. Seeing Malena's courage, people are amazed and start speaking about her with more respect. When she goes to the market, the same women who beat her now say, "Good Mo."